Remember last week when Lisa came on and told us all, well, not us to be fair, told her daughter, promised her daughter that I will not marry Daniel when I get to Nigeria. And none of us believed her. Why? Because, well, her daughter's had to change schools 15 times. Why? Because mom always has to move to a different location when she finds a new love. Because she clearly is a hopeless romantic who also claims to not be thirsty and to not look like a desperate woman looking for love. Yet she has moved 15 times and she's been married 5 times. Well. We are about to witness Mummy be a one hell of a hypocrite and be ready to break the promise that she gave her own daughter once again. Let's get into it.
You not only lied about the fact that, oh, you didn't stop flirting with a woman. No, you've been married to women several times.
He doesn't know that I am technically still married to a woman. He asked me if I was free to marry when he first started talking to me, and I said, yeah, I'm free to marry. Because in my heart, I have been free to marry because my...
There's a fine line between being free to marry in your heart and being free to marry legally. Okay? So, I don't know if this woman has the capacity of actually ever saying anything that is actually truthful or accurate. Seems to me as if she's somebody who says what she needs to say to get whatever she wants, which is probably why all of her relationships haven't worked, because she's clearly been one of the problems in the relationship when it comes to, I guess, lying, being 1000% truthful, because it seems to me that what she does is she sells people a dream that isn't real just to reel them in. Damn, bars. Let's continue.
Ex-wife and I have been separated for over 9 years.
That to me, I would be devastated. I wouldn't be able to trust that person.
Well, I'm going to come clean on this trip and tell him everything. I'm not going to accept the marriage proposal until we have this conversation.
You're going to come clean. You're going to come clean. This is the problem, right? She literally tells lies and then eventually tells the truth when it's too late. So what? She tells them what they need to hear. And then once she has them hooked in, then she's like, oh, by the way, this is actually the truth. Hoping by the time she's hooked them in, they will not want to leave her anymore. But that's not even the main part of what she said right there. She has to make sure that the divorce is cleared before she gets to Nigeria. Otherwise, she won't be able to marry Daniel. Hold on a minute. Didn't you tell your daughter that you was not going to marry him? It's crazy, right? Because she's the one who's putting the pressure on her own child to make sure these divorce papers go through. Why is your child taking that responsibility? The same child that you gave a promise to? Lord knows how many times over the years? Yay.
So if Daniel's asking to marry while you're in Nigeria, would you keep it to faith?
Would I go against fate's wishes?
Well, we all know that.
No. But my heart says, hold on to Daniel and do it. With him, I want to be a part of him. I want to be his wife.
She want to be his wife. Do you know what it is, though? For ages, I was like, who does she sound like? It kept bothering me because her accent was like, ugh. And then I realized she sounds like Gypsy Rose. Literally, she sounds like Gypsy Rose. And to be fair, she actually looks like what Gypsy Rose looked like before Gypsy Rose was able to grow her hair back. Funny enough, to be fair, at the same time, they've even got the same nose, kind of low key, before Gypsy had her nose surgery. Not gonna lie to you, that's literally Gypsy Rose. Not gonna lie to you. But anyway, with that being said, though, now we get to meet Daniel, and boy, is this man one hell of a hypocrite. Honestly, these two are a match made in heaven because both of them can't tell the truth. Let's find out why.
Lost my mom before she died. She told me that civil war. She nearly been killed, that a white man protected her, and I have to make sure that I get married to a white woman.
So he has to marry a white woman because his mom was protected by a white man in the war. Somebody please riddle me this. Somebody please explain to me in what world does this sentence make any sense? I'm still trying to wrap my head around what he means. How does that make sense? You don't marry someone just because somebody said this, and that. You marry someone because you generally fell in love with them, because you generally have an attraction towards them, because there's something about them that brings value to your life and something about you that brings value to their life as well. But you see, when it comes to him,
she has boss. She has what I want. She don't hide anything. She supports me financially. She makes me feel loved. I fell in love with her.
She don't hide nothing. She don't hide nothing. Hey, my friend, you are in for one hell of a surprise because you're about to find out this woman hides a lot of things. that half the things that come out of her mouth isn't even true, but for some reason she believes these things to be convincing. Yeah, you're about to be in for one hell of a shocker. But you're trying to tell me that you fell in love with her because she has boobs, because she has a body structure, because she doesn't hide nothing, and most importantly, because she is financially stable. So here's the thing, let's talk about lies. Let's talk about lies. Let's talk about the fact that she does things to reel people in, so therefore they can't leave. And when she does these things unreal, so he thinks that this woman is financially stable because she financially supports him. But what he does not know is that she's not. She literally works paycheck to paycheck. But not only does she do that, but she also has to borrow money from her own friends because she's that low on money and that bad with money. So while he thinks that he's about to be in this relationship with this woman that's balling, my friend, you are not. You're in a relationship with somebody who's probably you're in a relationship with somebody who's a scammer just like you. It's just that you both scam in a different way. But either way, though, he can't tell us that he's in love with her because of all of these assets. He's in love with her, not because he's in love with her. He's in love with what she brings to the table. And that is, I guess, most importantly, the money. But let's get into the part where he definitely, in my opinion, contradicts himself. Like one hell of a hypocrite with this information right here.
Therefore, we don't believe that same-sex exists in our culture. Anyone caught in the acts will be banished. Now that the ancestors approved, I want you to move forward on this relationship.
Somebody, please explain to me. How can you sit there and say that in your culture, if same-sex is basically illegal, it is something that will get you banished, something that will get you... But then at the same time, the guy that you go and see who's speaking to the ancestors still gave you approval to marry a woman that comes from a life of same-sex relationships. And the maddest thing about it, he thinks it was just a one time. But either way, though, clearly the one time is more than enough for someone to get banished, for someone to get punished. So why has he been approved to go ahead in this journey with this woman? You know, when you're watching something, you're like, this is just utter BS. Because they wouldn't approve if that was the case, if you know what I mean. Two people who are willing to lie to be together. Oh, what a pure, perfect relationship, right? This season is going to be pure cinema, because I'll be honest with you, their relationship is going to be cinema, but the relationship that's going to be even more cinema, well, we'll get to that later on in this video.
I'm planning a big surprise for Lisa when I meet her at the airport. I went from Nigeria. If I marry, I've been talking to God Almighty to take me away from Nigeria. If I marry Lisa, she'll make me change the story of my family. Make me change the story of my family. And if I should make it to America, this will change my life to good.
So, there we go. This guy is obviously with Lisa, one, because she's somebody who brings in the money. But also on top of that, it's somebody who he believes is going to take him to the land of the free. The land that makes all your dreams come true. To the city lights. Yeah. The place that they stay is either going to make you or break you. But I guess they only say that about New York, to be fair, most of the time. Not necessarily the whole of America. But either way, though, it's clear and evident why he obviously wants to be with a white woman. Yes, because he wants a woman that he can obviously take, that can obviously pay for him and also take him to America, and Lord knows what happens after that. But don't worry, folks. The Almighty God is the one that brought Lisa to his attention, and the ancestors are the ones that approved for her to still be in his life, despite the fact that she has broken one of the rules that gets you banished from Nigeria, from his culture, from his tribe, the whole shebang. Well, like I said, this relationship right here, yeah, it's about to be pure cinema. But let's move on to the next one, okay? And this one here itself in particular, well,
Yesterday was really hard for me, and like brought up old feelings, because, you know, I like lied to a lot. In my past, like past boyfriends. So when you kind of lied to me, it was like a trigger for me to care about my past.
No, I know you're right now, so...
Yeah, but they don't know about my life.
You know, I'm going to tell you this now, folks. Sometimes it is not a good idea to share your past. Look, listen, here's the thing. Everybody's got a past. Everybody's got a past. Some people's past has a lot of demons. Some people's past has no demons. Some people's past has very little to demons and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing. If he's saying that, listen, I don't really care about your past. I just care about who you are now and who I'm getting to know. Take that. Take that. Don't try and force you having to explain your past. Take that, because at the end of the day, I'll tell you this now. Do you know how people get manipulated? Do you know how people weaponize things against you? It's when you start telling them too many things about your past. But this is the funny part about it. Sometimes when people share their past, they're actually trying to manipulate with it. You know, like in this situation, she's like, well, the reason why I react is because of my past. And she's basically trying to let him know that, well, if you do this, this is how I'm always going to react because of my past. Basically exposing the fact that she hasn't healed from her past. Basically exposing the fact that she's always going to bring her past in as an excuse to why she may react in certain ways. Which, listen, trauma is a real thing. We all go through it. We all have responses based on trauma. Well, we're human beings, right? But at the same time, there's some of us who weaponize it, and then there's some of us who will be apologetic when it does happen, because sometimes we just can't control our responses because of our trauma, right? Two different approaches, right? One is good, one is bad. At the end of the day, he's just saying that I don't need to know about your past. I don't want to know about your past because I only care about knowing you now and who you are moving forward. And that's that. Honestly, if you're ever in that position, take that position, run with it, okay? Now, of course, there'll still be times when sometimes you may have to explain certain things, which is completely fine. But if you're in a situation where you really don't have to explain certain things, don't do it. Like, telling you now, just move ahead. Just continue as it is. All right. But anyway, one of my friends once said to me that when he gets to know somebody, he prefers to know nothing. He prefers to not know anything about their past, because when they tell him about his past, for some reason, he goes into this mindset where he's like, oh, so maybe I can use that against you now, because he knows what he's like. You know what I mean? He knows what he's like when he knows too much. Knowing too much for him can either turn him off you or make him start to think about how he can now manipulate certain things because he knows you're weak in this area or da-da-da-da. Do you see what I'm saying? So there are pros and cons to everything in life. There's pros and cons to telling someone about your past. So I guess it's a gamble that it's up to you whether you want to take it or not. But in this situation here, girl, shut the F up.
I know your life.
You don't know everything.
I know everything. I know your family. I know where you live.
I know where things are like.
Leave that in past. Something about it.
I really want to be able to tell Ziad about my last engagement because...
And this is the only reason why she's bringing up this whole conversation about the past, you know. She doesn't really care about telling about her past like that. She just wants to come out. So here's the thing. If you got something that you need to tell someone because you have to tell them something, just bloody tell them. Don't make it into a whole conversation that doesn't need to be a conversation. Because when you make into a conversation that doesn't need to be a conversation, well, then that's how arguments happen and things go completely pear-shaped. So really and truly, she should have just said, listen, I've got to tell you something right now. I've got to let you know about this and that. That's it. Say it and then leave it, keep it moving.
I think it's the only way that we can move forward. Shut me down. It does make me wonder if Ziad just doesn't want to talk about the past because maybe he has something that he's hiding or that he doesn't want to tell me. To Morocco, I've just felt really rejected by him. And so now I'm just feeling a little concerned about everything.
And now she's simply just projecting, you know, because she knows that there's something in her past that wasn't exactly, you know, the best. She's obviously now thinking, well, maybe he has something to hide too. Listen, sometimes that can be the case. It can be, but to project that, it's not a good idea. Just say your truth and then hope for the best. Don't complicate it. Don't make it into something that it doesn't need to be. But that's clearly what she's doing right here. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the next one, okay? This one's going to be interesting here. So, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this because I'm getting mixed vibes about what I think about this situation here when it comes to Laura and Burkan. Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed it. How about you?
I mean, I'm exhausted. I traveled a ton to get here, but it was really fun to see. Go to bed.
Actually, it's just 9 o'clock and I have no sleep. So
The lack of no interest shown at all by him is crazy work. But we continue.
I will watch some TV and join you after. Have a nice night.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Michael just has been blowing up my phone since I got here.
Of course, Michael's been blowing up your phone. It's crazy though because he knows about Michael's existence. You'd think that because he knows Michael's existence here, he'd be literally trying a little bit harder to make her feel as comfortable as possible, to make her feel like this decision that she made to leave America to come and see me in Turkey was a brilliant idea. But this guy is literally doing absolutely nothing, just sitting there. And we're going to get into our assumptions of why shortly.
He tracked my flights, texted me like as soon as I landed to say I landed. Everything's good. And then he was like, Your tone is less than excited, my dear. So I think it's interesting that.
It's interesting that he's able to pick up on your tone. Of course, he's going to be able to pick up on it. He knows you. Okay, he's been your best friend for such a long time. Why would you not pick up on it? She's looking into it way a bit too much, but she's looking into it in a way of like, maybe Michael really is the guy for me. Well, lady, you made your choice and he made his choice, and that's just that.
I just have a lot of things to process right now. It's just, I don't know, different maybe than what I was expecting. I feel like it's not this like super magical moment. Just feels off. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels off.
So here's the thing. Let's get into the assumptions that I have here of why maybe he's reacting to this. And I've got two. And this is where I really, really want to know what you folks think. Assumption number one is that he is not interested in her. Maybe she's arrived and he thinks that she's a catfish and she's not what he assumed her to be. So therefore he's like, yeah, I'm not interested. But I'm going to tell you this now, before I say my next point. Turkish men are known to also like women who are plus size. So her being on the thicker side technically shouldn't be a massive issue for him, because some of them do like that. They don't have an issue with that in any shape or form. So is it a case of where she's catfished him? Well, let me know your thoughts. I just thought I'd add that in there because sometimes people think that maybe the reason he is the way he is maybe because of the way she looks, because of the size. But I'm just letting you know that may not necessarily be the case. All right, so do what you will with that information. Let me know. But now let me get into my second thought. The other one is he could just be gay. I mean, the mannerisms are just... Do you know what? I have a very bad gay bar or gay radar, whatever they want to call it, right? Not the best at identifying it. But the way he was just so distant, standoffish, you know, and just... Maybe he's just gay. You know, but sometimes in life we can meet someone, we can get along with them as much as possible, and then when we meet them the vibe just isn't the same. So it could be the case. I don't know. Then again, there's a third option. Maybe the third option is that he's just one of these people that just doesn't have a personality. That's it. He's just one of those. If you're here, you're here. You're here, you're here. Yeah, that's boring. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this one. I definitely want to know what you guys think, if you know what I mean. Now, with that being said, let's get into this guy. Jovan, and Anna Lynn. Well, I'll tell you what now, these two are going to have one hell of a season going back and forth because they're already not even on the same page. He says one thing, she says the complete opposite. Let's make it make sense. Yeah, you can't make sense out of things that don't make sense.
It's a trip way overdue. I'm going to see my wife.
When was the last time you saw her?
Actually, I've never even met my wife yet.
What's wrong? We have been in a relationship for 6 years and we have been married for almost 3 years.
Hold on.
I'm not gonna lie to you, for 38, the girl looks, she looks good for 38, not gonna lie to you. But anyway, let's continue with these guys, with their relationship, that they've been married, been together, and they still have not met. That's just nasty work. Absolutely nasty work. And in case you don't know, they got married via a Zoom call. So yeah. So I don't even know if it's even legal. I don't know.
Has been challenging, especially because Annalyn has changed, is more patient, sweeter. She just
Like, hold on, what's going on here? I've always been feisty. She knows that. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being controlled.
Like I said, he says one thing, she says a whole complete other thing.
lately it feels like we're fighting more than we're getting along. I know we're already committed as man and wife, but before I apply for that spousal visa and move Annalyn to the US, I reached out to her because I was going through a rough time.
Yeah, so this guy here, because him and Annalyn were going through some issues, he decided to reach out to an old fling to get advice. Now,
In my marriage, and I needed someone that knew me, that understood me, and I was talking to this other person. I don't think it's a big deal, but obviously she does, because she's extremely pissed off and upset.
Why would she not be upset? Why would she not be pissed off? You're speaking to a whole other woman that you had a little thing with as well, okay? Why wouldn't she be? If the shoe wasn't on the foot, how would you feel if she went to a random guy to talk about how she's feeling about your relationship with her? Like, when people are hypocrites, it's quite funny.
So, I kind of felt like I was just a little bit desperate just to be understood and just heard.
Be like, sometimes you can talk to me. You have to do this. You have a dad. You have a mom.
And she also goes on and says, you live in America, so you also have therapy. He says, yeah, but it's not cheap. Either way, though, she makes a very good point. Yeah, if you can't come to me and talk to me about certain things, why can't you talk to your loved ones, the other people close to you? Why do you have to go to someone else that is, elsewhere? Now, don't get me wrong. Some of us don't have good relationship with our parents or with our siblings or any family members, and I get it. So, but either way, though, if he feels the need to have to go to, like, do you know what it is, right? I feel like if you're in a relationship and you feel like you can't go to your partner, that is probably the most crucial point in your relationship that you should go to your partner. That is that moment where you should go to your partner and say, listen, I'm feeling a certain type of way, but I'm finding it very hard to come to you because of said reasons. And I don't want to feel like it's hard for me to come to you for said reasons. How can we navigate this together? How can we figure this out? Because I can't even go to no one else, because if I go to my brother or if I go to my sister or my dad, they're going to make me feel like XYZ, so really and truly, as my woman, I want to be able to come to you for everything. So how can we figure this out together? We are supposed to be a team. That's probably one of the best approaches you could have. So honestly, that moment where you feel like you cannot go to the person that you're in a relationship with, that is the moment that you need to go to them. And however they react, I would use my approach as an example of how to go to them. And if that doesn't work, or any approach you use doesn't work, well, then that tells you that maybe that person isn't that person for you. Because our person is supposed to be our safe haven. Let's not forget, there are people, married couples who have been together for years, right? And it's only just them two. Some of them have no kids, it's just them two all the time, day by day, right? But they somehow figure out a way to make things work. So it clearly shows that in relationships, you are supposed to figure it out together. You're not supposed to necessarily have a third party. But sometimes third parties can make things a whole lot worse. Therapist or no therapist.
She's not taking any accountability that, she played a part in why I reached out to a friend. I need to be able to rely on my wife, but she makes it impossible.
So you gotta stop talking to her.
Can we at least work on our communication? Okay.
Well, hopefully for the best. They can definitely improve in their communication, and he can learn to rely on his wife, and his wife can also obviously, make sure she has those open arms for him. Because if she can't do that, well, then like I said before, you got to question who you're with. It's just that simple. Like, I'd be damned, I couldn't be with somebody that I can't go to. It's just that simple. Okay. And it's crazy because sometimes you have to recognize you can get to know someone and be with someone or whatever, and you can actually go to them. But to be fair, I'm quite strict, if I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, if I come to you 2-3 times, okay, and I explain certain things to you, and yet none of the stuff that I'm saying is now being understood or being like, I'm seeing that it's not been registered or whatever, I'm checked out at that point. Checked out. I'm like, you know what? Because I really hate repeating myself. Really hate repeating myself, right? So you have to bear this in mind, people. You have to set boundaries for yourselves, okay? If you feel like you're in a position where you are having to repeat yourself, whether it be friends, family, relationships, what you name it, you have to repeat yourself to people, stop doing it. If somebody isn't going to listen to you the first time, they're probably not going to listen to you the second time. Now, like I said, for me, there's been at least, I'll speak at least 2-3 times, but that's not on the same issue though. I'll come to you with this first issue, say, listen, this is how I'm feeling, da-da-da-da-da. Then I'll notice I'll notice whether or not you're going to act on it or not. If you don't, okay, cool. I'll come to you another time with another issue. You can act on it or not. If you don't act on it, it tells me everything that I need to know. But I guess sometimes if I really want things to, then I may come to you a third time. But that's a right situation. Either way, but that's me setting a boundary of the fact that it's me setting a boundary and me understanding that this person is never going to be receptive to my feelings. No matter how many times I come to them, they're always going to never actually take into account. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm making sense to myself, but I hope I'm making sense to you folks. Because a lot of times people don't set boundaries, and that's how people get walked all over all the freaking time. Anyway, with that being said though, let's move on to the last one. This one is just pure cinema. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most. God, this whole scene, everything from beginning to end with this couple was just pure gold. Yes, let's get into it.
Giggles. So, did you guys do the old nookie nookie?
No.
Nookie nookie. There's oral sex. There's fondling.
Nah, man, listen, his mum be doing way too much.
Now you're kind of being really disrespectful here, Mom. I get you're trying to be helpful, but you're pushing too far.
You lied to us about giving your parents the money. This was supposed to be you saving up money so you could come to America, and for it to just find out now, before we come here, that hasn't been happening. You lied to us all along.
Bear in mind, the mum is simply asking Sheena a simple question. Why did you lie to us about you giving money to your parents, or the money, or your parents taking the money out? Why did you lie about it? And then this is when it all begins.
It's a cultural thing in my country that we are obligated to help our parents around.
But my issue with it is that you lied.
Parents, my mom happened to guilt tripping me from time to time. If I don't give them money, she makes me feel that I'm such a selfish person.
A direct question, I need that direct answer.
You know, it's the point when Sheena started going. I was like, oh, here we go. She's about to start fake crying. Everything is about to be a massacre of tears here that are not real. Oh my days. But listen, the mum's got a point, but you're not answering my question though. You're telling me why you're giving money to your parents. I'm not asking you that question. I'm asking you why you couldn't be truthful with us that you was giving money to them. Why could you not be truthful to my son? Tell me now. And here we go.
Even now, you haven't given me a direct answer as to why you continue to hide it.
To me, they would say bad things to other people, and it affects me emotionally, mentally, drains me,
No.
and it makes me feel like
I can't understand what you're saying. Oh my God. See, there's your manipulation with the tears.
Mama knows. There's your manipulation with. What are you saying? Today, Junior? If you know, you know. Come on now, catch that reference real quick.
I understand that if you love your parents and you want to have love from them, you would try to do anything to make them love you.
Notice the moment that he obviously, what's his name again? What's my guy's name? Whatever his name is. The moment that her son decided to start talking, right? All of a sudden, that whole act of crying stopped. She was like, oh, he's on my side again. He's defending me now. He's protecting me now. Yeah, now I know I don't have to speak anymore. Boom. She knew what she was doing. Sheena is yeah, she's one manipulative demon. Forrest, that's his name, Forrest. She's a manipulative demon. Especially when you see the preview for next week. When they plan to go and see her parents for the first time, she gets him to tell his mom that she can't come. Crazy business. Nah, listen. There's definitely Forrest needs to wake up. Sheena's doing a number on him. But anyway, let's continue.
To stick up for her against you. I honestly doesn't know what to say, and she gets so overwhelmed. All she can get is blah, diarrhea in the mouth.
Forrest, you're being played hard. Absolutely getting played, but it is what it is. It's crazy because he knows that he wants to know. He wants to know why she can't be truthful with him. But at the same time, though, he doesn't want to lose her. So he's like, what do I do? And, he's like, well, I've got to pick and see if I defend my woman or I back my mum. And of course, for him, he's going to defend his woman because, well, he's invested how many years? 7+ years or something like that in this relationship. So, of course, he's going to defend her, isn't he? And, it is what it is. But the question is, though, the question still remains. Why did you lie to them? That still has to be answered. Tell us the truth. Honestly, it's crazy, though, because Sheena is probably somebody that's very good at manipulating it and deflecting and all that kind of stuff. But then she met Forrest's mom. Forrest's mom is like, "Hey, don't cut me with the BS. I've been there, done that. I've lived it. Don't try and do none of that to me. I'm asking you a question. I answer the goddamn question." I loved how militant she was about the whole situation. She even took away the tissue, and Sheena was like, "This is the tissue." She was like, "Give me that way." Let's play it back. Let's play it back. You see what?
Oh my God. See, there's your manipulation with the tears. She's pushing the down.
You saw it there, right? Look.
She's pushing.
You see? Boom, boom, boom. She's like, nah, please, give me that, man. Jesus Christ. She's like, give me that. What are you doing? What are you doing? You ain't fooling me. Speak, woman. And then her son got involved, and yeah, the rest of it was bloody history. Well, with that being said, let me know your thoughts, folks. Let me know your thoughts. Definitely want to know your thoughts and your opinion on the matter itself in particular. We listen, guys. By the way, it is nearly New Year's Day. Okay, the 1st of January is Among Us. 2025 is nearly over, and I must say to you, folks, I say it now before I don't say it in any videos. I'll probably forget, and I will say that it's been one hell of a journey we've all had this year. So thank you to every single person who's been a part of every single video and has done what they could to obviously be here to support this channel in 2025. And hopefully, you guys will continue to support the channel in 2026, and will hopefully continue to grow as well. Obviously, leading into 2026 itself in particular, in 2026 as well. So yeah. Just want to give you guys a shout out and thank you so much. But don't worry though, we will be doing a live stream before the year is over. Okay, there'll be one more live stream before 2025 is over. Okay, folks, and so make sure you're here. Make sure you're here for that. Okay. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.